So I try to stay physically fit, and I try to eat as healthy as possible. But did you know that approximately 17% of children between the ages of 5 and 19 are obese? And did you know that approximately 74% of children between the ages of 5 to 10 are not getting the proper amount of physical activity? If you remember from our last installment, me and Joseph, we brought you this little gem.
Hello, it's me.
And if you remember from our last health program that we've introduced, it was called Hype.
This goes out to all you kids out there. Listen up. Run like someone stole your lunch money.
We'll be showing you the evaluation aspects, the results, and the conclusion of that particular program. Okay, so if you remember, our goal here is to decrease the risks of childhood obesity in national cities, San Diego, California, in the ages of 6 to 11.
So we're administrating exams to test their basic knowledge of proper food and diet and also exercise. We'll give them questions such as name 5 fruits, name 5 vegetables, how many times you should exercise a day. These will be nominal questions.
For our objectives, 30% of our participants will pass their health assessment exam with an 80% or higher. Then after 6 months post-intervention, 25% of them will report continued consumption of fruits and vegetables with at least 3 servings every day, along with 30 minutes of moderate physical activity. Later, after a year, 50% of our participants will report a 5% increase in consumption of fruits and vegetables and a 5% reduction in unhealthy food consumption such as fast food, high fat, high sodium, and high sugar. The conceptual model we plan to use is the trans-theoretical model, or TTM. At pre-contemplation stage, our audience will have limited access to healthier food alternatives. Hopefully, when they reach the contemplation stage, they will start considering changing their lifestyle after their health assessment exam. Then, participants will enroll in our program for preparation, then hopefully act and engage in healthier classes and eating, and hopefully do some physical activity and maintain these learned healthy behaviors after the intervention.
The type of research design we'll be using is a non-experimental time series. We are using a non-experimental because we do not need a control and we are not doing any comparisons. We're comparing our population to themselves and we do not need to exclude other participants. We are following a single cohort of children through a time series of non-experimental design, so there's no need for control groups. We have a limited budget, which justifies our choice of doing non-experimental design. See, we will measure at the beginning of the intervention for baseline data, and at 6 months post-intervention and 1 year post-intervention. Our independent variables we'll be using is age, gender, and ethnicity. For our dependent categorical variables, our knowledge of proper diets, such as fruits and vegetables, and knowledge of the amount of proper physical exercise. We'll be using a chi-square health exam assessment.
Results and conclusion. We will be using bivariate analysis because we are measuring not 1, but 2 change in our variables in our priority population, which are pre and post-test and their knowledge of proper diet and exercise. During our health exam assessment, 20 of our participants who passed with an 80% or higher increased to 50 students, therefore accomplishing our process objective goal due to a 30% increase from pre-test to post-test. For average consumption of fruits and vegetables, we reach our objective of 25% increase of participants reporting that they consume proper amount of vegetables and fruits every day. Lastly, for our average moderate physical activity, there's a 25% increase of participants reporting engaging in moderate physical activity, therefore reaching our objective 6 months post-intervention.
What does our findings mean? Well, our findings indicate that our intervention was actually successful in instilling the proper knowledge of physical activity and proper diet to our participants. This can lead to a lifestyle that allows for a lowered risk of obesity. So as a result of our intervention, we were able to reach our target objective of having 30 participants out of 100 achieve an 80% score or higher in our health assessment. After a year post-intervention, half of the participants, 50 participants out of 100, was able to report a 5% reduction in unhealthy foods and a 5% increase in healthy foods. So as you can tell, our participants are actually learning a good amount in terms of physical activity and proper diet. And like we stated earlier, this type of lifestyle can really benefit in the long run, as it is the type of lifestyle that will prevent obesity and all other health conditions that accompany it. So our limitations are as follows. We have an internal evaluator, which means there was a possibility of evaluator bias. We only had 5 evaluation questions. A more thorough assessment with more questions could have provided for a more accurate exam. We use bivariate analysis, which means it can only take into account 2 variables. And we use the chi-square test, which means our independent and dependent variables were limited to 2 nominal and or ordinal categories of data.
Once again, guys, that was hype. Thank you for listening to us. And we would like to wish our classmates the best of luck to wherever you guys are going. And last but not least, before we end this video, we want to thank Professor Hullab for being a professor this past 2 semesters. And we wish you the best of luck at San Marcos, and we'll miss you so much. And thanks again, guys. We'll miss you too.